What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of On the Bump. And on the Bump this week, we have Alexander Jackson, who's currently a college player and also a content creator
Mhm.
online. Alexander, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on here. Glad to talk to you.
Absolutely, Alexander. Again, it is so great that you're finally joining us here on the podcast, getting to be a piece of what we've got going on the channel. So, huge thank you once again to you. But without further ado, Alexander, can you please kind of just share with me and to all the viewers just a little bit about yourself, kind of give an introduction into who you are and what you do online?
Yeah, so as you said, I'm Alexander Jackson. I go by Alex Jackson BSBL on all platforms. I'm going in my senior year of college baseball at Greenville University. I'm a corner outfielder, and also one of my hobbies that I would like to turn into a career. I also create content based around baseball in general, but a lot around my college career, about being a college athlete, baseball skits and just stuff like that.
So, Alexander, what kind of first got you into the content realm? Can you kind of talk about your
Mhm.
earlier days or what maybe inspired you to start showing your
Mhm.
journey to everyone online?
Yeah, so I started around COVID time when, everybody was locked down and anything and everybody was starting to make TikToks and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I got nothing else to do. Why not? I'm bored in my bedroom. I started making some stuff around baseball or some funny skits or whatever, and just a little bit about my career so far. And then I did that for about a month. And then at that time too, I just committed. So I was like, it was pretty fun for about that month. And then from then I was like, kind of on and off, just posted here and there, not really thinking much of it. And then I got summer right before going into college. I took about a month and a half, tried to post every day, gained what I thought at the time was a decent following, and I was like, this is kind of fun. And then I got to college and I was like, I don't want to be known as that dude that make TikToks as a freshman, so I kind of stopped. As you know, all my teammates found my account, my coach found my account, and then a lot of this was like, dude, this is really cool. You should probably continue this. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I had a lot of fun making it. It's a lot of fun. And I just dove deep into it, starting about probably beginning of December, my freshman year, around January, around that early semester, spring semester time, just and then dove into it fully ever since then.
What have been some of like the more challenging things when it comes to creating content? As a former college player
hmm
myself, like there's a lot of things that go into your life. You got school, you got friends, you got, relationships, you got everything
hmm
else that kind of surrounds the game of baseball. And like you've kind of said, like there's a lot that goes on there. You have fear of criticism, you got fear of
hmm
your other friends finding out about your account and things like that. Can you kind of talk about those challenges, those struggles kind of early on and kind of how you've had to deal with them?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, obviously, guys find about your account, other teams find about your account. I still get chirped at. It's never gonna end. And now I love it. I think it's a good thing, honestly. If people are finding my account, it means I'm doing something right. But like early on, obviously I had those fears because maybe I only had a few thousand followers and like maybe I didn't have full confidence in myself and full confidence in my ability. So that was just a lot of struggles going through that, obviously, because I've gone through a lot of mental stuff throughout my career and stuff like that. So just trying to face that and just realizing that, at the end of the day, you just got to do what you want to do and don't worry about anybody else and stuff like that. And also, it does take time. Obviously, you got to take time to edit, you got to take time to film stuff, you got to take time to sit down and think. So just being able to time manage well throughout college because college can get really busy. Obviously, you can go out and just have a lot of fun with your friends, which is really fine. But it's like that also takes up time. If you want to have a girlfriend, that takes up time. So it's just like you got to be able to make time for yourself and time to actually go out and film, time to actually go out and edit, time to go study some algorithms and study like what you want to do and just actually you have to create time. So that's also a big struggle, but just what helps me a lot is just writing stuff down, having a calendar, thinking when I wake up, all right, here's my plan for the day, here's my plan for the week. I'm gonna go film this, I'm gonna go edit this here, I'm gonna do my homework here. I got practice here and stuff like that.
Yeah, I gotta say, like the whole storytelling part of creation it's really fun about content
Mm-hmm.
creation. Putting your story online and showing other people like, hey, like baseball's a grind. We're going through different type of swing mechanics, pitching mechanics, or you're breaking down some type of flaw or different thing that you're working on at the time. There's a lot of struggle, a lot of different things you got to look at. And I feel like with content creation too, it's almost sort of similar, right? You're trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
how you can
Yep.
tell your story the best. and how you can also kind of put that in a way that it's very engaging and it's very easy and it flows and it connects with the audience or the person that you're trying to talk to. And for me, myself as a content creator, like that's really been something that's been very interesting that I've kind of looked at here, over the last couple months is like, how can we create a more engaging story? So for
Hmm.
you, for example, like what is something that you do that helps engage your audience or helps you just keep your content engaging?
For me, I try to be really personal with myself. So it's like a day in a life. I'll take you through my life and what I'm going through and what I'm doing. And then like I'll take you maybe through some drills that I'm doing, what I'm feeling. And then like I've started this series, I've taken through at bats throughout the summer, and I'm just telling you my thoughts and like my process and my mindset during that at bat. And that just makes it engaging because I'm telling you straight up what I was thinking during it. You can see it. You can see the at bat. You can see me doing swinging. You can see me doing this, and then I'm telling you what I was thinking at this time. So it's just trying to be very personal to the audience and just everything about my career. Just being very personal.
I think it's really one of the crazier but better things about a lot of, baseball content online and the community that's there. Guys are personal, guys are willing to help. There's a lot of resources for people to go to with, questions or, hey, what should I do in college? Hey, what should I do about pro
Mhm.
ball? What should I do about, X number of things? And the baseball community, I feel like online is very helpful, very nice. Now, yeah, you
Mhm.
got your trolls and yeah, you got the people that, want to see you fail or whatever. But like honestly though, I feel like the good people kind of outranks, maybe the
Mhm.
not so great people, at least in my experience.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think that's really one of the better things I've kind of seen again over the last like couple years or even over the last year, just kind of seeing how many different people and different resources you have to make good personal content and
Mhm.
things like that. But that's awesome. That's awesome, Alexander. It's really
Mhm.
cool that you're, breaking down your at bats. You're making great content about who you are
Mhm.
as a person. What else of type of content do you do on your channel?
I'll do from time to time. I'll do baseball skits and stuff like that. And I'm big in my own faith, so I'm trying to grow that too and grow that aspect of my content because I'm trying to build obviously the brand Alexander Jackson Baseball, but like I don't want to be seen as, oh, this dude plays baseball. No, I want to be seen as Alex Jackson. I want to be seen. So I'm trying to build that too, build a little more personal, a little more life maybe behind baseball and more into like my being my college and maybe the road to whatever I want to do after this. I want to play professionally in banana ball or cosmic baseball. So maybe a little bit more on that side of how I'm trying to get there, not just simply me on a baseball field in the baseball uniform.
So, kind of stepping back a little bit before baseball, how did you ultimately
Mhm.
get to like where you are today in college? Can you kind of talk about your recruiting process, just kind of
Mhm.
what that looked like?
Yeah, so I didn't really start getting heavily recruited until let's it was my the summer before my senior year is when I really started getting looked at. And then where I was starting to email and talk to coaches and stuff like that. And then so into that fall is when I really started to take visits, get offers and stuff like that. So I didn't really get that many offers. I think I had four at the time by the time I committed. I visited Greenville was my first school I visited, and then I visited two or three others after that, and then I kept comparing everything back to Greenville, and then something just felt my heart pulling at Greenville. This is where I belonged, and at that time, Greenville was the best education wise and best baseball opportunity for myself.
So, as far as I know, Greenville's a Division three, correct?
Yes.
Can you kind of talk about some of the Division three struggles? As someone who used to go to a Division three,
Hmm.
all the Division three experiences are vastly different, I feel like,
Hmm.
and it's just such a mixed bag. And so,
Yeah.
Alexander, can you kind of talk about that a little bit right here?
For sure. Greenville or D3 in general, there's a lot of inconsistencies. I feel like you can go face some dude who's a dude and probably doesn't belong at the D3 level, some would say. And then you go face someone who isn't a dude, I would say. I'm still a college athlete, but it's like, it's so inconsistent, it feels like at times. So like we'll face a really good team with a really good pitcher, and then the next game we'll face a different team, and it's like, how are we on the same level? So like it's that inconsistencies, and then obviously we focus on education more at the D3 level. So it's like we just get less time with coaches in the fall. We only have like 16 practices, which is a blessing and a curse. Just like I want to be out there more in the fall. And we can't in the fall we can't go play other schools as much as D1 schools can or JUCOs have a full fall schedule. We don't. We have last year we played one other team in the fall. And that was my first time there at Greenville playing another team. So it's just like a lot of times struggling wise, athletic wise, they focus a lot on school. And it's like, yes, school's important, but it's like also I'm also here for baseball. And obviously I don't get any athletic scholarships. So luckily I am blessed with that academic scholarship that covers a lot of it, but still I don't get paid, which is also a blessing and a curse because you can't lose your athletic scholarship, but I don't have one to start with. So I can't lose it if I don't have one. So
That's very true. They talk about how it's more educational based. I don't know. I think I think that's very dependent on where you go to school. Like, for
hmm
instance, I feel like my school in particular, they were a lot more focused on, academics, getting good
yeah.
grades, and athletics was at the bottom of the totem pole where, you go to other Division 3 schools and athletics is at the top of the totem pole. It's very different. But like you said, I mean, inconsistent. Like you got a guy throwing probably upper 80s, right? Like upper 80s,
hmm
maybe touching 90, and then you got a guy throwing like 71, and he looks
And you're
like,
like, yeah, exactly.
and he throws all your timing off, and you're like, what? Like this is
hmm
ridiculous. Like, but hey, I mean, I guess that's kind of how D3 goes, right? I mean, it's just, I mean, that's, I feel like what makes it so unpredictable, just so, unique in and of itself. But at the same time, too, right? Like, you could still have a good education, still have a good baseball program or a good athletic program, but I mean, again, it's just I mean, so different, so wild,
hmm
I guess is the good way to put it. But
hmm
if you had to share like one like kind of crazier story that you can share, from your time so far, what
hmm
kind of what would that be? Do you have a favorite memory or favorite game or performance?
My favorite game or performance, I hit my first college bomb in front of my parents. They came down for one game that season, and it happened to be the one I hit my first college bomb. So that's been fun. On a lot of guys might disagree, but we had a 6 a.m. tarp pull one day, and at the time it sucked, but looking back, it was kind of fun because everybody got up really early and we went out and pulled the tarp and we all ate breakfast after and you got to see the sunrise. And I'm a sucker for sunrises and sunsets. So that was pretty fun. We've had one time a bus broke down on the side of the highway.
Yeah, that's
We
typical for D3.
yeah, we took three minivans and one of them broke down. So we all took from that minivan, we all piled in the other ones. And I remember we were playing I was laying on the floor. I didn't have a seat and we were just playing Among Us on our phones and my teammate kind of sold and I got kind of mad, but that's what happens. We played a lot of Mafia. On our way down to Florida, we had we take a charter bus down to Florida. So we had the whole team there and we convinced the whole team to play Mafia and I forget who I was, but I was able to kill. So I almost won, and I killed our coach, and coach was not happy about that. So it's been a lot of fun though.
Yeah, when you talk about like tarp pools, like you said, we one time had our tarp, like there was such crazy wind, and we were trying to pull the
hmm
tarp, and the tarp just flew away, flew over the fence.
Really, we had wasn't our field, but our softball field right next to us. The whole outfield fence blew in from a storm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they had to go all replace it, and they had to play at some community field for a game or two because they didn't have a fence for a bit.
Yeah, our school had to buy a brand new tarp from like another D3 school in our
hmm
conference that had just got a brand
Yeah,
new turf field. And
yeah,
we're kind
that's
of sitting there
fun.
like, what the heck? And that tarp had holes in it. I mean, it's just so crazy. Like buses breaking down. Yeah, that happened at least 3 or 4 times
hmm
during my college years. I mean, you got meal money going down to Florida. I mean, it's
hmm
a whole thing. We were able to fly to Florida a couple times at the end, kind of at
hmm
the end, but it's just so interesting, like all the different things that happen like at D3. Like, they've made those
Yeah.
accounts like the D3
The
problems
D3
accounts.
problems, yeah. Our school's been posted there once or twice.
Oh my gosh, it's just so crazy. Like you see all the ones that get like the shop vac and they're trying to clean the field. We've actually
hmm
had to do that before.
Really.
Oh gosh.
I'm lucky enough. We just got a brand new turf field, so I don't got to deal with that anymore.
No, no more tarp duty for you
So
guys.
no more tarp duties for me. But I've done my jail time, so I
Uh,
get the best of both worlds. I get the tarps and I don't get the tarps. So
Yeah. Um, no, that's incredible. I mean, Division three again, such a mixed bag, a ton
Hmm.
of different things that have happened. Like I'd say for me, like the Division three experience is so different from a lot of other schools where it gives you like the flexibility, right, to have like friends and be able to do a lot of more social
Hmm.
things, like, you know, but at the same time too, you would like it if your team kind of focused maybe, a little more, did a little more baseball activity, right? Or
Hmm.
you had more of that time that you were allowed, compared to the other divisions, right? Like you were kind of saying,
Hmm.
like in the fall, you're only allowed a number of practices or a number of time with coaches and
Hmm.
players together, right? And that's obviously that can be very exclusive sometimes, and sometimes it can be very much needed, right? Alexander, what do you plan on doing with your baseball career kind of going forward here after
Hmm.
college?
All right, so my plan right now, obviously it's all in God's hands, but my plan is I have a fifth year, so going to see what I want to do with that. The plan is, again, probably to play college baseball somewhere, if not at Greenville. And then after that, I want to try to take my content and try out for this fan of bananas or banana ball or go play cosmic baseball and then just do that for a few years and see where that takes me. So my main goal is once I graduate, hit up the bananas and try out, hit up the cosmic baseball, try out, see what happens and see if there's any opportunities with that. And if not, I'm just going to try to grow Alexander Jackson baseball to the best it can be.
What do you really like about the Savannah Bananas or Cosmic Baseball? What interests
Hmm.
you the most? Is it the funny dancing, or what kind of
Hmm.
sparks your curiosity with that?
Um, I like a lot of it. One of the biggest things, they're all about their fans and stuff, and they're trying to make the game fun again. And obviously, with college, sometimes it takes the fun out of the game. At times, I feel like you're there forever. Obviously, you're in a slump and you're just not feeling the greatest, and there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of anxiety that comes with school ball and just like normal baseball and Savannah Bananas Cox baseball. It kind of takes that away from you, and you're just playing, and you're playing for fun. You're playing for the fans, so you're not you do want to win, you do want to compete, but at the end of the day, that's not the true goal. The true goal is to make experiences for the fan and to grow the game of baseball. So that's what I really like about it. Because I've dealt with a lot of mental things throughout my career. I've thought about quitting baseball. I thought about quitting content a lot. I just thought I don't know if this is the right path for me. I don't know if I'm doing what I should be doing. But it's like the bananas and cosmic baseball. I think they do a really great job. Is for the players, they're able to play more stress free, and they're just playing for each other, playing for the fans, and just playing to grow the game of baseball. They're not playing the bat 350 with 20 bombs in the season. They're not playing for that. They're not playing for personal MVPs. They're not playing for that big paycheck from their Major League Baseball team. No, they're playing for the fans and they're playing to grow the game.
Yeah, kind of like you said, it's very fan first. And so
Hmm.
I feel like that draws a lot more people to it because then it ultimately does become about providing the best fan experience or providing the best form of entertainment for that person. The
Hmm.
biggest thing that I see with the Savannah Bananas that I really like is, if a fan catches a ball,
Hmm.
it's an out, like
Yeah,
I think that
it's
that's
funny too. In like summer
yeah.
ball and even at school, we hit a foul ball, someone catch it, and then somebody will say, "Hey, banana ball, that's an out." So it's kind of funny just to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
fans saying that and players say that too.
But I love their just, fan first initiatives when it comes to,
Hmm.
like the dancing or like they start their TikToks or their games from like running in from like the stands or just like,
Hmm.
you got a guy on stilts or
Yeah.
someone like carrying like flaming bats. I mean, it's so many like different things. And then on the flip side, you also got cosmic baseball. Well, I guess that's not really on the flip side, but you got glow in the dark
Hmm.
baseball, which is,
Yeah.
something that's never been done before. And so, that's also really, really cool as well. And so, just everything about like what Cosmic Baseball is doing, Savannah Bananas are doing, it's something that creates a lot of really good content. Whereas, you have your standard MLB, your standard, number of teams and the different the different types of teams, the different fan bases,
Hmm.
the different types of players as well. But I feel like just with that though, it's a lot more like personal agenda driven. Like
Hmm.
the different types of players. All right, you got Aaron Judge, you got Bryce Harper, and it's again normal baseball, but. There's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on the type of person that, you are and what you're
Hmm.
looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, banana ball, cosmic baseball. You're gonna see some fun and probably some weird stuff.
Hmm.
Baseball. It's very, your normal game. Your normal,
Yeah.
your normal season. So, I mean, Yeah, and I feel like again that's drawing a lot more people with, like we kind of talked about at the beginning of the episode, like engaging. It keeps
Hmm.
baseball engaging, right? And with banana ball, cosmic baseball, like you're constantly there's something to see. There's something that constantly, sees you right in there.
Hmm.
And I mean, I definitely can see that from like, you know, the fan perspective. There's never a dull time, whereas in MLB, there's a lot of dull moments,
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's definitely a different taste for everyone. I think that's really cool with what they're doing. Where are you currently at right now? Are you playing summer ball or what's on the
Yeah.
docket right now?
Yeah. Currently, right now, I'm in Pierre, South Dakota, playing for the Hawaii Zap in the Independence League.
What's that summer ball experience like right now?
It's a lot of fun, you know. You actually pull fans, unlike my D3 school. So it's not just parents and girlfriends and the occasional students. You know, it's people from the community out coming out, and they all come and rally against the team, and it's more like an actual baseball game. So, there's the fun little mini games in between the innings. There's all the walk up music. There's all the ads and all that stuff that makes like a professional game. So it's more like they call it the minor league experience or the professional experience. So it's just a lot of fun. I'm playing almost every day. I'm not really or I'm practicing on my own, but we don't have team practices. We don't take IO and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun. I don't really like IO, so it's like not taking IO before every single game is awesome here because it's saving my arm a lot from the outfield. So
Oh, dude, IO is terrible. I could get on a whole freaking talk about that. I hate IO.
I don't like it either, man. I don't find it that useful, especially if you're in BP, you're already taking fly balls and ground balls, and I already know how to throw to the base. If I don't, then I don't belong at a college roster.
That's
But yeah,
funny.
that's a whole conversation for a different episode. So,
Oh, definitely, definitely. Uh, that's crazy. So with summer ball though, again, it's a lot more laid back. Is it
mhm.
more team oriented or is it a little more like individual? Like guys are just there to get ABs, innings, whatever. Or is it just like everyone's like, all right, we're in this to try and win a championship here? Or what's that
For
like?
my team, I feel like we do a really good job. Yes, guys are here to get their reps in, but we're also here to win. We're trying to play win baseball. A lot of my team didn't come from really successful programs. They didn't have, or they didn't really play that much in their season. So a lot of guys are like, well, we're going to come here and get our reps in because we're playing a lot of baseball games. You're going to get your ABs in no matter what. You're going to play. Coach is like, I didn't bring anybody here to sit the entire summer. Like you're going to play. So my coaching staff does a really good job of we're here to win and we're here how to learn how to win because obviously maybe not at some schools, but a lot of schools, their coach is there to win. If they don't win, they're gone. So it's like you as a player, the best thing you can do is be able to win baseball games. So it's just trying to develop like that, develop winning mindsets, how to win, but also personal development, getting better, talking about approaches at the plate, approaches in the field, on the mound, whatever it is. So it's I think it's the best of both worlds. Guys are still getting their B's in, getting their work in, but we're also trying to win baseball games.
Right. I feel like with a lot of summer programs, it's again a mixed bag, much like D3,
Hmm.
but at the same time too, like it can lead to some really, really good experiences for both the player, the fan, and it kind of has everyone's best interests at heart, in which I kind of wish that college to an extent was a little more like summer ball, it's very laid back, it's very stress free, like, and I feel like
Hmm.
that's where a lot of guys really start to come into their own, because they're in an
Yeah.
environment where they feel like they're a lot more laid back, right? Like, I mean,
Hmm.
again, yeah, college, you're trying to advance, you're trying to, put the best version of yourself out there. That's, I feel like more of
Hmm.
the MLB, like we kind of talked about, and summer ball is a little more of
Hmm.
the, all right, we're about the fans, and again, we're
Hmm.
still trying to do well as a team, but, it's a lot more fan first to an extent, right? So,
Yep.
that's
Hmm.
that's really really cool. Especially playing summer ball and Independence League and everything. So,
Hmm.
Alexander, do you kind of have anything else you want to like talk about, or any other topics that you kind of are interested in, or anything like that you want to share to the viewers or whatnot?
My biggest thing is for any guys who want to maybe start creating content or whatever you want to do in life, just go do it. It's as simple as that. I've had guys come up and talk to me like, "How do I start creating content? I want to do this, I want to do that." And I'm like, the easiest way to learn is just go do it. Like you're gonna fail. I'm not gonna hand you a piece of paper instruction booklet and tell you everything. You just go out and do it, go out and learn, go talk to people, go, message people, hit up people, and just do it yourself and just learn. Because obviously, I'm still learning. I'm sure you're still learning about content creation and all this stuff that you're wanting to do. I'm still learning. The guys at the top are probably still learning stuff new every day. So it takes time. It's obviously this is an overused phrase, but Rome wasn't built in a day. New York City wasn't built in a day. So just go out and learn. Just do it. You're gonna learn how to edit by editing videos. So you're just gonna learn. That's the best way to learn is just go out and do it. Go out and edit, go out and film, go out and upload. And obviously, you got to upload somehow. Like, you got to upload your first video. It's not probably going to do that well unless you're one of the lucky ones. But just go out and learn. Take every video as a learning lesson. There's gonna be highs and lows. I still deal with it. Obviously there's one week where all my posts are doing really well, and all of a sudden one post tanks, and it's like, dude, that this kind of sucks. But you just gotta stick with it. There's gonna be waves. There's gonna be the highs and the lows. There's gonna be the adrenaline rushes and stuff. So just go out and do it, and just make the best of your opportunity, and just have fun with it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's supposed to be fun.
Like Alexander said, we can really relate this to baseball here. Like, you're gonna strike out a lot, but as long as you hit
Hmm.
3 out of every 10, you're hitting 300 right there. So that's pretty good.
Hmm.
But anyways, Alexander, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of On the Bump,
Thank you.
and thank you for also taking your time to come and talk to us today.
Of course, my pleasure. It was fun being on here.
Thank you, Alexander.